Hi, this is Kaleem, and welcome to this session. In this session, I want to talk about one of the mindsets I think is important that you have when you want to start a photography business. Now, if you want to start a full-fledged photography business where you have a studio and all of that, this may not be the lesson for you. But if you're a photography enthusiast and you've considered selling your photography or making money from photography, and you want to know a little bit more about it, well, this is just the right lesson for you. At least this is information I wish I had when I first started. I started out as an amateur photographer, as so many people do. And after a while, I wanted to know, could I make some money with this photography? And I jumped into the photography business without knowing that business is just that, business. Not that it's difficult, but if you aren't doing the things that's required of business, guess what? You're gonna fail in business, and that's what I did. And it really frustrated me because I thought that just having great photos would automatically make me successful in the photography business, and that just wasn't the case. And so needless to say, I was disappointed. In fact, for a period of time, I gave up photography. But I'm back, and now what I do is share lessons that I wish I knew when I was starting with others, and because I like to help people. But I'm a business consultant now, and I specialize in marketing. And marketing is what makes the difference in terms of photographers selling their work. Now, sometimes people confuse marketing with advertising, or marketing with advertising and selling. It isn't. Sometimes associated, but it isn't. Marketing is dramatically different. And I won't go into it in this lesson, just to understand that marketing works with business, but it works with just getting messages out there. Even as a photographer, that let's say you don't want to sell your work, but you want others to see your work. Well, you've got to market it. Great photos in and of themselves, no matter how great they are, just don't sell themselves. And it took me a long time to grasp that. But once I did, life became much easier for me, and especially in terms of establishing a successful photography business. One of the things that's important is that as a photographer, we have to have confidence in our work. We have to have confidence that we're taking the best photos possible. And that is a challenge for many of us, because many of us seek approval from others. We show people our work and they say how wonderful it is. We try to get in touch with other experienced photographers and ask them the same thing. What do they think about our work? And we base the quality of what we do on what others say too often. What others say is important, but that doesn't do a lot for our confidence as photographers. And so we must always strive to get better at it, always. And when we aren't willing to put in the work to study our camera and to study what makes good photos, then it's not about beating ourselves up. Just be clear on where our skills are. And there are many photographers that don't have the greatest of skills that run a photography business. The two are separate. Being able to take great photos and being successful at making money in photography are two separate tracks. And that's part of what I want to convey in the lessons that I make available on this page. And the sooner you recognize that taking great photos and operating a business are two separate things, and it takes marketing to bridge the two. The sooner you recognize that, the sooner that you too will be able to make money with your photography, whether you are hired out as a photographer or whether you're selling your photography work as stock photography, or you might be having it, your business model might be fine arts. But before you can begin to make real money, it doesn't even have to be significant full-time employment money, but just real money to be paid as a professional. You have to understand that you have to market yourself first. And with the tools that are available these days, you can do it at minimal cost if it costs anything. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But it's critical that you understand that there's a difference between being a great photographer and being able to be successful at the photography business. So I want to make that distinction, and as I move along, I'll continue to make it. But that is a critical mindset if you have any intentions of making money with your photography. Many skilled photographers get into the business of photography, and while they just call it a business, they don't operate it as a business. In fact, sometimes some of them feel guilty that it's associated with being a business. And I understand it, but I can't defend it. If you don't want to have a business, don't call it a photography business. If you're someone with a photographer that likes to make a couple of dollars to pay for their hobby or pay for the use of the equipment and stuff, that's something else, okay? And I want to make that distinction clear. When you're running a photography business, even if it's on a part-time basis and you're doing it out of your home, when you run it as a business, you make better money. You work less. Now, some niches, photography niches, require that you spend a considerable amount of time, and some of us enjoy that. My experiences, I thought I would, and I did at first, but after a while, I determined that the photography that I make money with, I enjoy, but not as much as I enjoyed other niches. For example, I like to take photos of flowers. I love it, but I can't sell any of them. I don't even try anymore, but I still enjoy taking photos of flowers. Street photography, that's one of I really enjoy that niche. That's one of my favorite niches. Just taking my camera, just going places where I know people are and just photographing them. I really enjoy that. I get my inspiration when I visit a site, the National Public Radio site at npr.org. I get inspiration there when I go to the photography section and see the many journalism stories based around photography. So that inspires me sometimes. Although I don't always tell a story with my street photography, I really get a kick out of that niche. But in both cases, shooting flowers and shooting street photography, no matter how great my work is, I haven't made any money in those niches. What I encourage people who are starting out to do is do some research. Find out where are the customers, where are our target customers. And from a business vantage point, it doesn't say, well, everybody won't become your customer. It just doesn't work like that. That's part of what marketing is. One of the ways that I suggest is you see what type of photography is being bought now. There are different niches being bought now. One is always event photography, birthdays, weddings, graduations, things like that. Making yourself available that way really opens the door for other photography niches. But I use that as an example. You determine the niche you're going to market yourself, the photography niche you're going to market yourself as. That's going to cut down on a lot of wasted energy. Above all else, once you decide that you want to make money from your photography, you can't afford to be seen as just somebody with a camera who's available, who'll take a couple of dollars for their time. You will have a difficult time raising your prices when it's time to raise your prices. And in terms of your prices, I'll cover that more in another video or another lesson. But listen, it isn't about how long you've been a photographer. Part of your marketing process is to understand who your target customers are. Why would they choose you over any other photographer? And what benefits do they get out of you being their photographer? And that decision needs to be made in all businesses, but certainly in the case of photography. So the key thing you need is confidence. Confidence in what the job you've been hired to do, you can do. Because you've practiced your camera and you know your camera well. There's no way around it. there are no secrets. Now, I don't like to spend a lot of time learning about the camera, but I know I was forced to. But what I've focused on mostly to keep my confidence up is lighting. Lighting is critical for a photographer. Critical. There are many other things also, and I'm not dismissing those. But for me, controlling lighting made my photos better, but also gave me the confidence I needed when I approached people about the photography business. And so I want to strongly encourage you as a photographer to continue to practice, continue to get better. Understand that the niche you enjoy the most may not be the niche that you make money from. You're going to make money when you do your research, find out what type of photography is being bought now, who are the people buying it, and then you develop a way of contacting them or getting you as a photographer in front of them. And one of the ways of doing it, in fact, one of the most successful ways now, I spoke about it earlier, is using the tools that are available to you, whether it's email, your social media profile, such as Facebook, Twitter, Google+, which I'm a big-time believer in the Google product, Google+. YouTube is also a great tool to develop a platform for yourself, a celebrity status, if you will. The most popular and most well-paid photographers, they're good at what they do, but they've also built a platform, a celebrity platform, so people know who they are, and they're buying their work, one, because of the benefits of buying good photography, but also because of who they are, and they built a platform. Let me give you a quick example. If Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift or Kim Kardashian tomorrow said they're picking up a camera and going to be a professional photographer and start selling their work, they get paid more than you and I. And it's not necessarily because they're better photographers, because they have that celebrity status already. And that's part of what you want to build, and you have tools to build that, to do that right now with your email, your social media. And it's about building a list, an email list, if you will, but if it's social media, you want to give people a reason to stay in touch with you. Not saying how wonderful you are, but being your authentic self. By being authentic, people will get to know, like, and trust you. And they'll stick with you if they like what you're about. As a photographer, that's relatively easy. You can take your photographs and wherever you put them, explain what went into that photograph, why you chose that, and why you think it's significant. People enjoy that type of information, and they'll get to know you. And so many of us photography enthusiasts are really shy people or introverts, and we often hide behind the camera. I know I do, and I know I'm telling you this, and I can tell you how to get out of it, but there are times I go places, I hide behind the camera because of the things I get to see, I get to observe, and I get to catch some great shots. Especially, I shoot a lot of event photography, and I enjoy it, especially when it's outdoors. Event photography fits right into my love of street photography, and I get some great stuff. So that's just my enjoyment of photography. And as I begin to put more lessons on this in this channel, that's the mindset I have. Yes, you can make money with photography, and I want to help you do that. But photography is meant to be enjoyed, and that is the main basis of why I want to put this information out. I told you earlier, when I got into photography at first, I was so excited. I started a business, lost money because I didn't run it as a business, and I was really disappointed. I was sad. I was getting jobs, but I knew what I was getting paid to do the jobs wasn't able to get me out of the hole I was in, because I was losing money trying to run a photography business in name only. So these days, photography is supposed to be fun to me. And in fact, if it's not fun, I've got a choice these days. I don't have to take it on, especially jobs. I'm not hungry for photography jobs. Could I use more business that way? Yes, but I'm not forced to do so. What I am disciplined about is getting better with my camera, getting better at photography. And for me, if there's a secret, the secret is lighting. The better able we are to control the lighting, the better photographers we'll be. More significantly, the more confidence we'll get out of being better photographers. And that's going to make the difference. Sometimes we're afraid to approach people and say, I get paid for what I do. But if you have the confidence in what it is you do as a photographer, that'll nip that in the bud. So, once again, choose a niche. Just because you like the photography niche doesn't mean you're going to make money with it. Choose a niche that people are already buying photography in and find out how to get in front of that market and do just that. And what's critical that you get out of this lesson? Being good at photography in and of itself is what we desire to do. But in and of itself isn't the same thing as being good at business. When you run a photography business, it is just that, a business. You need to do the things. If you need licenses where you're located, get the license. Don't spend money just to spend money, but approach it as a business. Even if you're doing it part-time, approach it as a business. You'll be happier. I promise you, you'll make more money. And more significantly, the people, as you build your list, build a following, the people who are following you will see you in a completely different light, especially if you're authentic. So, hope you found this lesson valuable. Please leave your comments below and take advantage of any of the resources on this page if you think you find them valuable. Thank you, and I wish you the best in your photography future. Stay connected.